Hello everybody and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we got a pretty light week for you guys. I think we only have 3 first appearances, 4 honorable mentions, so only 7 titles I want to go through. Definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week ending July 11th, 2025. First up from Marvel Comics, Red Hulk number 6. This features the first appearance of a new werewolf. Now, like we tell you guys every week, anytime there's a first appearance of a new character in a Marvel title, probably worth picking up and adding to your collection. You know, Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media for small screen and big screen. If they pull any of these characters from the comics onto the screen, collectors will race back to the comics to try to find these first appearances. This character, Werewolf, is being introduced into the Red Hulk title series. This is definitely a spinoff or B-series for Marvel Comics. This is definitely not one of their mainstay or tentpole series. So we really don't know how important this character is going to be to the overall Marvel Universe, or even into this Red Hulk title series. But like I just mentioned a moment ago, probably worth picking up the first appearance of new characters in these Marvel titles. You know, you definitely want to own these at the cover price. You don't want to chase these down years later for a lot more money. If you can, grab this here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Star Wars Legacy of Vader number 6. This features the first appearance of Jedi Grandia. Now, like we always tell you guys with these Marvel published Star Wars titles, always worth picking up the first appearance of new characters in these titles. You know, the Star Wars franchise is still going incredibly strong. Marvel Disney is still churning on a ton of TV shows, streaming series, and feature films for that franchise. You really don't know if they're going to pull in these characters or introducing in the comics onto the screen. If they do, these books are definitely going to jump in price. You definitely want to have these at the cover price. And this issue here does have the first appearance of a new Jedi, so this is one you probably want to pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And finally from Marvel Comics, Uncanny X-Men number 17. This features the first appearance of Misery, a mutant villain from a horror film. Now I feel like we highlighted this in the past, so this one here may have been scheduled for release earlier, and for some reason it's just coming out today. Like I've been telling you guys for the past few months, now that Marvel Disney have the cinematic rights to X-Men again, you could definitely expect a lot more content in the future, both for the small screen and big screen. This new mutant they're introducing in this particular issue, if this character hits the screen, collectors are definitely going to race back and try to find this first appearance. You don't want to miss out on these, like I said, at the cover price. This character is also being introduced into the Uncanny X-Men title series. This here is one of the mainstay or tentpole title series for Marvel Comics, so that definitely gives this character here a little bit more importance. So this one here, one we do think you should pick up for your collection, go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. For Marvel Comics, Fantastic Four number 1. Now this here is volume 8 of Fantastic Four. This here is the premiere issue of this title series. Now like we always tell you guys with these long running title series, Fantastic Four has been around since the 60s. Anytime they reboot these series, anytime there's a premiere issue of a new volume, these are books you typically want to pick up and have in your collection. You know, oftentimes it comes out later on that there's a first appearance of a new character, or maybe a first appearance of a new superpower, or new costumes. So sometimes there are those elements that do come out later on. Even if they don't, this here is the premiere issue of this new volume, typically worth having at the cover price anyway. This here is Fantastic Four. This here is the mainstay or tentpole title series for this franchise, and there's been a lot of buzz about this franchise, you know, due to the upcoming movie. So this one here, probably one you do want to pick up for your collection at the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from IDW, Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees, Rite of Spring number 1. Now this here is the sequel series that explores Samantha's origin and the aftermath of her first kill. Now it's probably obvious why we put this one here on the list. Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees. When that title series was first introduced, that was a huge hit. Hugely popular, hugely collectible. That premiere issue of that series skyrocketed in price almost immediately. And this one here is a spinoff or like a sequel series to that particular title. So this one here is probably worth considering for your collection. It will be speculative though, because sometimes when there's a big hit like that, when the main title series goes really huge, some of these spinoffs or sequel series or prequel series don't really do as well. But in my opinion, definitely worth the risk here. You're talking about $3 or $4, and if this book here goes big, if this follows in the footsteps of the main title series, you're talking about a huge winner here. You know, to risk $3 or $4 for that, probably worth it in my opinion. Definitely gonna be speculative, but like I said, definitely worth a spec. Grab this here if you can. Next up from Volt Comics, Big Rig number 1, the Big Rig Box Limited Edition. Now this here is a story that is written by Post Malone, if you guys don't recall. When this came out, hugely popular, huge success. You know, Post Malone has a ton of followers, ton of fans. A lot of collectors also raced to get this title because it was a limited print run and limited distribution. This here is a new version. This is the Big Red Box. This collects chapters 1 and 2 of this title series. Now this is limited to only 4,000 boxes, and the contents include some variants and some chase variants in here. They're definitely very limited. Now I'll read you guys what's included in the box. This here is the most updated information. You get cover B. This is the main variant by Maria Wolf. This is guaranteed to be in there. Cover C, this is a 3 in 10 bronze variant by Corin Howell. This is also guaranteed to be in there. You also get cover D. This is a 2 in 25 silver variant by Derek Robertson. Cover E, which is a 1 in 500 gold variant by Peach Momoko. Cover F, which is a 1 in 40,000 diamond variant by Peach Momoko. This is a 1 of 1 diamond edition. Also, there's cover J. This is a Jim Ma Food 1 per box thank you variant. Also cover K. This is 185 Maria Wolf black and white lines edition. Also cover L, which is a 1 in 10,000 Peach Momoko mud flap edition. And cover M, which is a 1 in 10,000 Peach Momoko blood flap edition. So there's definitely some limited chase variants in here. This is why collectors and speculators are going to try to pick these up. There's some very limited chase versions in this particular box set. So this one here, if you could find one, this is definitely worth a spec in my opinion. You're not talking about a lot of money here, and if you hit one of these limited chases, that's going to go for big bucks. So if you can, grab this here for your collection. And finally from Bad Idea, Planet Death number 1. An invading force from Earth arrive on a planet to destroy a weapon, but are immediately annihilated, except for one man who must complete the mission and return home. Now, we did highlight Planet Death number 0. I think that was maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. This here is Planet Death number 1. This here is the official premiere issue of this title series. You know, Bad Idea, when they came out a few years ago, they were a huge deal. Their books were coming out, collectors were loving them, very limited distribution, limited print runs. Those books were coming out and just immediately skyrocketing in price. You know, they did disappear for a few years, but now they're back. Planet Death is their re-entrance into the market. Because of the way they came out big and kind of disappeared, you know, Bad Idea did leave a bad taste in some people's mouths, no pun intended. But, you know, in my opinion, still worth specking on if you can get these at the cover price. You know, because the original owners, the original founders of this company, they do have a foothold into Hollywood already. So a lot of their titles do have great potential to get picked up an option. Like I said, they do already have a foothold. So if these books do hit the screen, they're definitely going to skyrocket in price. Collectors are going to race back and try to find these premiere issues or these first appearances. So in my opinion, still worth the spec at the cover price. Grab this here for a spec if you can. If you can't, put it in B-list and take a look at it later on. So there you have the 7 titles we have for you guys this week. There's definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.